Two bad teams, two horrible performances, and two eliminations from the Champions League. But which one was more embarrassing? Celtic's defeat against Kairat or Rangers getting absolutely scalped by Club Brugge? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football, here to ask the important questions, the only questions really that need answered in Scottish football. And today we're going to answer this one. Whose Champions League qualifying exit was more embarrassing? Celtic failing to score in 3.5 hours against Kairat and then losing on penalties, or Rangers getting smashed 9-1 on aggregate by Club Brugge? So, after 1.7k votes, we have a unanimous winner. Rangers got 69% of the vote, Celtic getting 31% of the vote. Now, I actually agree. I think I agree with this poll, because as bad as Celtic looked against Kairat and the failure to score in 3.5 hours, that is terrible. That is absolutely abysmal. But at the end of the day, Rangers got absolutely annihilated 9-1, and had Club Brugge not taken their foot off the gas, as they call it, it could have been more. I honestly think Club Brugge, if they played to their full capacity over the two, I think it could have been like 14-1 on aggregate. 50, it really could have been. And that's just embarrassing. It is what it is. 9-1's embarrassing, so anything more than 9-1 would have just been not even worth thinking about. But 9-1 itself is absolutely abysmal. Had Rangers been able to take a few goals off this, had it been 6-1 on aggregate maybe, or 7-1 on aggregate, then perhaps you could say Celtic had the worst result. But I just think 9-1, that's next level. That goes beyond getting smashed. Actually, in my opinion, that is humiliation level of aggregate scoreline. So I agree with the 69% that went with Rangers. There's 111 comments though, so we are going to get into them. We're going to see what all you guys have said, and we'll start with the newest first, because that's how we roll. So We Are the People says Celtic defeated by goat herders. No, it's bad. It is bad for Celtic, but 9-1 on aggregate's not great. Dave Ayre says Rangers in turmoil, getting turned over by a team who reached the Champions League last 16 last year, took 16 points from the league phase, selling players for 40 million, and have a team of very expensive talent and are ranked 25th. Or Celtic, who couldn't score over 2 games plus 30 minutes of extra time, to a team who have never, up until this week, reached the Champions League, are from Kakistan, whose best player is a 17-year-old who wasn't playing this week, and are ranked 315th in the rankings. With Celtic losing on penalties to them, overall I think Celtic's is more embarrassing, but both are fucking shocking for Scotland coefficient. You can make a case for either one. Really, it depends on your preference or whatever, really. The Celtic made all the Rangers fans forgetting Queen's Park. Oh, that was a bad game for sure. Chief Gilry, imagine thinking that 2 0-0 draws is worse than getting pumped 9-1 on aggregate. Yeah, but it depends on who you're playing. You know what I mean? What have you got 2 0-0 draws against Real Madrid? You need to look at it in context. You can't just say, 2 0-0 draws. It depends on your opponent, and fact is, Kairat are a really, really, really weak opponent, and Celtic should have beaten them. Paul Brookie said the main issue here is Celtics could easily have been so avoided with a bit of planning and replacing players we lost. Kevin Moore, Celtic, they lost to who? Celtic 1888, Jinky, 100% Celtic defeat is way more embarrassing. Serious just for that shite. Not great. Fred and Enrico, both boards slept. It was the biggest game of the season to the value of 50 million, slow with signings. Gary, you can't say one is worse than the other. Bruges are a Champions League team every year, and that team they played were third in their league, and 2 of the best players injured for the game. About 400 out of 410 teams. It's an absolute redneck for Scottish football, and we'll come back to haunt us when we've got 3 qualifiers to play in Europe. Both teams are a shambles in Europe. But Rangers are savable if they sack Russell Martin before he sells their best players and replaces them with English Conference League level players. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be too late for Rangers. I think by the time they get rid of Martin, he'll done the damage. I think the Rangers team, Raskin will be gone. Egan Manny's already gone. Russell Martin seems to be ruining Rangers one day at a time. Stephen Riley says Celtic, because they came into it as the champions of Scotland and failed to impose themselves against a non-entity. As awful as Rangers are, at least they got pumped by a side that does have some pedigree in the Champions League. It doesn't say much, but because both teams are gash. They are. James Fulton, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, both shite. Samboy, I think 9-1 is more embarrassing. Davies is both. Ray Beavis, the whole Scottish League system needs restructuring. Scottish football has become so bad. Cook says, who else is less excited about the whole who's the shittiest cup on Sunday? As for who was worse, Celtic should have invested in the team to ensure we achieved the Champions League windfall. Rodgers didn't change anything enough to break them down. Players were flat, while Sevco just Sevco shite. Celtic by far. Rangers are a broken club. Should have never been expected to make the Champions League. Celtic fucked up due to a shit board. That's worse by far. Stefan says both fans arguing who got punched in the face more. Yeah, I mean, that's... what a time to be alive, eh? What a time to support one of these clubs. Chris Jolly, does it matter who played the shittiest when two of them are out on their at? I mean, probably not, but we're just asking the question. Gada Fist says Rodgers should be sacked. Wow, okay, wasn't expecting that. Sion Groovy said, as a Celtic fan, the fact that folks are so petty enough as to make a comparison, well, let's be honest, has been abysmal for both clubs. I'd say that's embarrassing in itself. The brass neck from anyone to draw conclusions. Let's just all take one's medicine, accept we're both shite in Europe, and we get what we deserve to move on. Yeah, look, they were both shite, but we can still have a discussion as to which result was more embarrassing. It's not about point scoring, you know. It's literally just about. It's a genuine question because I think both results could be described as equally bad, you know. So yeah, I'm just curious to see what everyone thinks about whose result was worse. It's not a case of one set of fans, laughing at the other or anything like that. From a Scottish football standpoint, I want to know which team had the most embarrassing European result. And I do think it was Rangers, because I think 9-1 is just, that's a stretch too far. Like I said, if they only lost, I say only, but had Rangers lost 6-1 on aggregate, or maybe 7-1, I would maybe lean towards Celtic, but I think 9-1's just the next level. Ramos says, Rangers by a shade ball here, as both were embarrassing. Come Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised if both teams score own goals, just to say we're worse. Fucking nightmare Scottish football just now. Darren Stewart, not making any excuses for 10-man Rangers getting pumped by a European team ranked 30th or below, but come on. Celtic have spent 40 to 50 million in the last 2 seasons just to get pumped out by Kakistan Borat part-timers, FC European ranked 300. It's the ultimate embarrassment. Most of us has never heard of that team. Didn't even know Kakistan had a football league. Alrighty, Exposed Ben, it has to be Celtic all day long. Rangers were fucking dung though. Vincent McNabb, Bruges are certainly a better team than Crap, and 9-1 aggregate scoreline gains a wooden spoon for Rangers for sure. Bruges could have well hit double figures last night. It was beyond easy for them. No challenge whatsoever from Rangers. None, nada, silch. Thomas Kelly, it's Scottish football's loss. The league needs reformed. Let clubs breathe and grow. SFA and SPFL are a letdown to the fans. Clubs at senior and development levels. Ultra Instinct, it was embarrassing for both sides, just funny for either side's fans. It's what happens. The piss shall get ripped clean out of you either way. Worried Life Blues, getting beaten by a team of tractor drivers was infinitively worse than getting thrashed by a quality Club Bruges side. Bruges are a very good team. I mean, they are a very good team. Also, guys, let me know down below, what is your thoughts on Iron Brew Extra? Or ordered the wrong Iron Brew today, or the other day should I say, and instead of getting the original Iron Brew sent to my house, because I don't really have the time to leave the house when you're working like 70 plus hours a week. Fuck, what's going shopping? I mean, who's got time to go to like Asda or something, or some crap like that? So yeah, Amazon Prime, man, must have ordered the wrong thing. Sent me Iron Brew Extra instead, and it's a weird name because it's called Iron Brew Extra, but you've got nothing extra. It's less. It's not like they give you extra sugar. It's less. It's like I guess it's like Coke. The way Coke have Coke Zero, and that kind of I don't understand why Coke Zero's called Coke Zero, but Pepsi's called Pepsi Max. Because how can one be called? Listen, so you've got your original, then you've got your diet, and then you've got the level below diet. How can Coke call their level below diet Zero, but Pepsi call theirs Max? It doesn't make any sense. It's like two totally different sides of the the range here, the spectrum. It's like one's Zero and the other one's Max. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but yeah. Why is it called extra when you get less? It's like less sugar, less. I'm trying to read all this shite on the back of the can, but to be honest, guys, it's pretty dark, so maybe I need to go and get some glasses. I don't know. Specsavers, are you calling me? Potentially, but anyway, let me know. Iron Brew Extra. Do you guys like it, or is it? I don't know. Doesn't taste that bad, to be fair, but it doesn't taste that great either. Anyway, not sponsored by Iron Brew, but if you want to give us a wee sponsor, then by all means, we'll get sponsored by the Orange Can, or hell, even the Orange Man. Donald Trump, if you're interested in sending a couple of billion this way, by all means, go ahead and do it. CME 1994 says, "Fuck the current buns." Goody Maximum. The real embarrassment is coming this weekend. It could be. Alan Woods, both embarrassing, shite or less shite, it's still shite. I mean, that is very true. Both were shocking. Stoned Outlaw, clearly the Rangers pumped. Hello, we are the Billy Boys. Rangers by a mile. Belgian League is something we can compare ours to. 9-1 aggregate is embarrassing. Celtic just haven't gone through, and it happens to be better teams than them. Rangers and Russell are a redneck, and the game on Sunday must be the least spoken about Old Firm ever. The only people looking forward to it will be any people that have never been to an Old Firm. I mean, it could be an empty stadium, for sure. W4TKN, I choose Celtic. Reason being Rangers losing was a real possibility, but not at the scoreline it was. Celtic over 2 matches did not bring enough and went out of a whimper. Not to worry, Hibs and Aberdeen can carry the pride of the nation today. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen. Hibs played really well, but got eliminated from the Europa Conference League, so that sucked. Just about average says Rangers barely, and I mean barely, win this for how terrible Celtic actually had some players who did perform. Rangers were rotten, and to have lost to a team 9-1 they could have beat, it's just worse than Celtic missing a few chances and losing on pens. That being said, if Rangers scored or conceded 1 goal less, Celtic would have topped this poll. Kamike, the derby at the weekend is going to be screaming for non-Old Firm fans sitting there with popcorn. Sam Winston says both embarrassing. I'd rather go out to a team who's seasoned Champions League team who go far every year than to a team who are ranked 313th and have never been in the Champions League before. Alright. Deadly Dyson says, in all honesty, Celtic still had the chance to win the game on pens, but that's no excuse. Celtic should be beating teams like that, leaving me shitting it for Sunday. But Rangers really did play their skin out as well. Both are just as bad in my book. Yeah, this Sunday could be an absolute shocking game of football. Celtic soul, we need to change at the top of the game. Regan and Doncaster out. They are asleep at the wheel on Cushy Street. 01 Karma Cop says, Sevco getting pumped rotten. Hugh Trodden says, hello, 9 in a row, hello. Great song in the 70s, in fact, simply the best. Hail, times 9 from Johannesburg. Jack Jones says, both clubs failed miserably. End of. Robot Rock says, the most embarrassing thing about all this is arguing over which was the most embarrassing. I mean, possibly, but here, it's just a debate, isn't it? Crow's Tail says Celtic more of a shock because Celtic are a good team. No shock in Rangers getting pumped because they are bloody awful. In my opinion, it will be the worst Glasgow derby on Sunday, 4-4. Well, here, I'd rather it be 4-4 than 0-0. At least if it's 4-4, we should get some goals, maybe some excitement. 0-0 could be an absolute shocker. Guetta Grip says 16 million on new signings and yet you get smashed 9-1. 4 million spent on new signings, don't concede through 2 levels. Defo Rangers are the most embarrassing result. We have yet to invest. Your investments are woeful. Well, I mean, you did invest last year, and how'd that go for you? Not very well. Marcelo McDade, equally embarrassing. This will be the worst derby for quality ever. Dreading it, to be honest. I mean, it could be an absolute stinker of a game. No doubt about that. Baldy Cox says, the Celtic opposition are ranked, but then again, so were Rangers. JBH, let's be real, if you hadn't cheated your way to titles with money you never had, we'd both be strong and probs both be Champions League every year. You've set Scottish football back a decade, gave our board an excuse not to invest. We'll be back next year. Yous are fucked. Alright, so, here you go, another Celtic fan here. Talking about Rangers, spending money they didn't have. I mean, that is... I guess that is kind of true, to be fair. Rangers going down to the lower leagues, that really did screw the Scottish coefficient, and it hasn't really recovered since then. I mean, we did have that one season where both were in the Champions League, but yeah, I think that did a lot of damage. Celtic got complacent. It did become a one-team league for a while. I mean, you could argue it's still a bit of a one-team league, to be fair, right now. Seek RFC says, surely if your green-tinted glasses on, you can see it's Celtic. Yeah, but 9-1's 9-1, I mean, 9-1 is fucking awful. Jim Jers, Club Brugge are ranked 40th, Karat are ranked 311th. Rangers have new owners, new crap manager, new players. Celtic have the same owners, same manager, same players. If anything, Celtic are more consistent as they have failed to win a European qualifier for 20 years this time against a team that cost 10 million. Well, yes, I mean, when was the last time Celtic won a European qualifier? It's been a while. When was the last time they won a knockout game or, a two-legged tie? It's been Been for a long time. John says, no fucking way, Rangers have been beating us in the embarrassment stakes this week. Ours was much worse. I don't care if they lost 20-0. No one at Rangers is sabotaging their club from within. Jimmy Snooperfly, says 9-1 in aggregate is utterly unforgivable with an improved team. I have to say us, but Celtic's result is a very, very close second. They were pish as well. Trevor McCabe says Scottish football, he's giving it the thumbs down, not good. Celtic Sean says the real embarrassing moment is having players who refuse to play when the manager calls on them. Rangers seem to be allergic to hope as bad as we are at Celtic. Our complaints won't be here when we win the league because Rangers are so poor. A poor Rangers means less investment, which means poorer results in Europe. And yeah, I think that does have a factor. Cold and Douglas says Celtic fan here. Easy Celtic was worse. Fucking pub team at best. Didn't look like scoring over 2 legs. Extra time. Pathetic. And Gorguts for Concrete says Celtic because of the level of opposition. And they couldn't score a goal in all of open play. And yeah, I mean, the open play thing is poor. 3.5 hours, guys. Not a single goal. And honestly, Dyson might have had a couple of chances, but outside of that, didn't really look like coming close to scoring either. So, yeah, really, really poor from Celtic. But there you go, guys. Old Firm coming up soon. Looking forward to it. Should be a good game of football. A Rangers win would keep Hearts top of the table for the international break. So that's what I'm praying for. That's what I'm hoping for. And yeah, whether Russell Martin and Rangers can do it, I don't know. But I guess we're going to find out, guys, pretty soon. Till next time, though, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and peace.